Hello, hello, welcome to 2023, the year more things happen and hopefully we survive. I am your host, Duncan Idaho. For tonight, I'll be running the crew of the USS Reliant through some adventures. So, starting off, let us begin by introducing Chorog, our security officer.
Hello, everyone. Pirate Scum Gaming here. I am the resident security officer on Reliant, Chorog, the pirate exchange officer, newly promoted and eager and ready to blow something up.
Hey, we then have our man out of time and scientist D.B. Wells.
Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm here. Science.
Hey, and for additional science, we have our chief medical officer and acting shipboard captain Eli O'Connor.
You must swab the poop deck. Stop laughing.
I'll never stop laughing. And we have our con officer, Cara Junrani.
Hey, I'm Jerry. I'm also Kara.
And we have our chief engineer, Rick Tier.
Greetings all, and don't forget, if you want to email us at reliant@starbaseuGC.com.
That's Reliant at StarbaseUGC.com. Reliant at StarbaseUGC.com. And yeah, we've just fully devolved to a 90s commercial for that. Anyway, we cut to the USS Reliant in dock at Starbase Magellan, still in a little bit of limbo with regard to the captain. Starfleet is still reviewing the events that led to his temporary leave, and there hasn't been a whole lot of updates about that. The crew's just milling about, trying to make the best use of time possible, upgrading the ship, running through additional drills, security maneuvers, reviews, diagnostics, and more diagnostics. Starting to wear a little bit, but at the same time, Starbase Magellan is starting to liven up a little bit. It's becoming more and more a little exploration hub to the galaxy as, well, both Alliance or Starfleet crews and a few Republic crews have taken to developing it, and there are some civilians as well servicing the facility at this time, in addition to, of course, our little Reuthian friends who are helping to maintain the station still and comprise a large presence on the station. We cut first to Rick Tier.
So Rick is just going through some personnel files through engineering and the crews. He's primarily cameras looking down, looking at survival training status. Expires in 2 days. Expires in 1 day. As he goes looking over all the personnel files, and he tapped his badge. Rick Tier to acting Captain O'Connor.
O'Connor.
Captain, we are getting to a point where we should really renew our survival training accreditation. We've got some programs aboard the holodeck here that we can run to accredit primarily our main staff in survival situations.
All right, yeah, that sounds good.
All right. So it looks like pretty much everyone, yourself included. I've actually done my training accreditation, so that's all. I don't have to do it, but I am authorized to run accreditation for the rest of the crew. So if we set aside a date, say tomorrow morning, we could get the bridge crew down and run through a training scenario.
Very well, make the necessary changes to the duty roster to accommodate this.
All right, I'll send updates to everyone. Rick Tier out, and with that, Rick Tier goes out, and a couple hours later, Kara Eli, Chorog, even Daniel, all get survival training notifications for the next day, about 11 a.m. in the morning, to meet at holodeck 2 aboard the Magellan.
Kara sends back a reply that says simply, "Thank you for the mercy of not waking us up at 4 a.m. at least."
Are there any scenes that anyone wants to do before moving on?
I had myself muted. I'll just say that Lieutenant Tardigrade is currently eating a big bag of gummy bears.
Tell me not that they're not the sugar-free ones.
I was going to say, tell me they're not the ones that have the THC.
No, they're just sugar gummy bears. So he is just eating gummy bears, just one by one, staring at a wall. He's quite bored.
I was going to say, are you sure these aren't the THC ones?
Checkers is eating the THC ones in his office. This is now canon.
And probably staring at the wall the same way.
The bees, I can see through time with them. But yeah, John's just chilling out, a little mysterious, but yeah, that's just what John's doing. Marcus is, in the meantime, is reading Setsa's inner quarters, just trying to tidy it up while also just sort of being on leave / downtime.
So yes, Setsa or you can have Setsa or John come as well.
I'll have John do it, just because I think that'll be a little bit funnier in his
Yeah. All right.
He needs to work off the gummy bears.
All right. So the next day at 10 o'clock, Rick Tier is standing out in front of holodeck 2 aboard Magellan, a large pad almost being held as a clipboard, as he goes over, as he looks down and waits for people to arrive.
John waddles in, holding his bag of gummy bears.
Kara shows up just a little bit later in the expedition outfit.
Chorog wanders in his usual attire while simultaneously finishing putting together a disruptor pistol.
Eli enters in the same outfit he was wearing during the camping episode with the Wendigo.
Ooh.
Daniel arrives last because he got lost again, wearing a recently finally fully fixed and operational spacesuit.
Great for camping. What I thought we were going to do from, alien planetary survival training.
Must be prepared for all things.
Indeed.
What if the planet just suddenly vents atmosphere?
I was going to say, if you have to carry that suit around, you're probably pretty prepared for a hike.
Oh no, he's wearing it.
Yeah, it's still heavy.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that looks like everyone is here. Thank you for coming. I've activated the program. Just head in. Get a good sense of the layout. You'll be entering a village, and get an idea of the layout, and there will be a scenario randomly chosen from a number of options there that will take place in the area, and then but before that happens, you'll have a chance to get supplies and sort out anything you would generally possibly need, in addition to whatever you're bringing with you, basics right now.
John raises a hand. Oh, Gargo.
Kara just reaches back and scratches behind an ear and says, "This doesn't sound like the survival training I'm used to."
John raises a hand. So is this going to be a fantasy village? And if so, are we going to get weapons? And can we fight a dragon? I want to fight a dragon. Waves his gummy bears around.
This is the scenarios are based off Saure mythology. So if you want to say there's fantasy, there is. I'm not going to say there isn't a chance. I'm not going to say there is. You'll just have to. It just depends on the I can't find the right word right now. On the exact mission that you're given.
Scenario. Kara just reaches up and massages her forehead ridges slightly with a pair of metal fingers and says, "And here I thought we were going camping." And then she steps through the door.
The holodeck doors open to reveal, well, what is pretty much a winter village. Snows like about 3 inches on the ground. Wooden huts, houses. The center, it's like one center main road that's been sort of swept, kept cleared. The sun is actually out and shining, but you can actually feel the cold, the chill in the air. The wind's calm. There's no clouds in the sky. It's just a bright, sunny but bitterly cold winter's day. There is up ahead. You can see some shops. There are there's like this little raised dais center that seems to be the center of the village, but that's all frozen over with ice and snow. You can clearly see plumes of light smoke coming out from each of the buildings, as there's some kind of fire that's happening inside that seemingly like kept separate from the rest of the wooden and stone construction, and it's all calm before the storm, so to speak. To the north, sorry, I need to actually also, to the north you can just see past some buildings. There's this like snowy forest that sort of starts to spread out to the east. There's this huge, there's this mountainous range that sort of runs beside the forest, and then right down from north to south. There's towards the south. There's this just an open plain with the road that you're going on just sort of continues down that way, and to the west is just sort of gentle rolling hills. So that's the general environment. Your clothes, apart from DB Wells is well insulated, so he's not feeling the cold, but for most of the rest of you, it is a bit chilly.
Although John is adapted for the vacuum of space, he's probably fine.
Yeah, John's probably fine.
He goes running off to one of the huts, trying to find a suit of plate mail suitable for a tardigrade.
There is, and all the people there. The village is pretty active, and it's pretty clear that there's a tap of blacksmiths, manipulating some molten metal, and they're actually just as John approaches, they're actually just finishing up some touches for him, as the last bit of the helmet's just sort of straightened and set up before being dunked into an almost frozen bucket of water.
John looks with absolute fascination and wonder at the scene.
So it's sort of that weird mix of hot and cold in the same sort of close environment that you see in that was in the within Star Trek Online, in that first time you meet Kahless, Kahless's clone on that ship. Green cold plus Klingon fire. As I said, and John, they start to assist, helping John into his new set of quite heavy armor.
John also requests for his mighty weapon. He wants a hammer, not like a war hammer, just like a hammer.
So he gets a sledgehammer.
Needs a sledgehammer, one-handed, so he can go whack, whack, whack.
It is a smaller sledgehammer, but it is definitely style in that way.
Once John gets his accoutrement and his mighty great hammer of whackingness, he proceeds to simply run around the village giggling and eating gummy bears and trying to pay people in gummy bears for the work they have done for him.
Well, all that's going on. Kara's probably looking around for either a Federation shuttle or a supply crate or something she would recognize.
Give me insight, security or command.
One success, one complication.
So there isn't a Starfleet recognizable clear thing that's Federation, but there is what does seem to be a stockpile of generic items, things from like climbing equipment, tinder boxes, just sort of all these different things that could be in any way useful in a cold environment. However, they're all sort of currently frozen together, so you'll need to figure out a way to release them from their ice prison before you can actually use them.
Kara puts two fingers in her mouth and whistles shrilly. John!
John scuttles over very excitedly, and he raises up a hammer. He's like, Kara, look, it's a hammer.
Want to try it out?
Yeah.
Okay, roll a daring security check for John.
I've not updated his stats in a long time, so we'll see how this goes.
Oh.
Successes!
Okay, so you are able to, John's able with one single strike to sort of cause the frozen block to just shatter into a million pieces. Each individual thing, is pretty much accessible now. There's still a bit of ice on it, but nothing you can that's going to take any real effort to clear off.
Thank you, John. She gives him a pat on the head, and Kara goes over looking for a nanofiber insulated jacket. Or, failing that, at least a jacket.
So you do get... There is definitely some kind of jacket that doesn't look like a nanofiber jacket, but it definitely, from your feeling... from the experiences, it's as effective as a nanofiber jacket would be.
Any port in a storm. She puts it on and offers one each to Eli and Chorog.
Eli's definitely taking it.
Trog passes as he sees a tanner and a furrier off in the distance. He's going to go look for himself for a nice warm fur cloak.
All right. Let's go do an insight command. All right, you get 6 and 18, which is one success. You find a furrier, and there is a decent, a more custom designed outfit. It does as you start to feel it, it feels as good as the standard Federation stuff. It's not. It's not more effective. It's not less effective. It's just effective.
It's not quite as warm as Targ fur, but it'll do.
Kara looks over. It's very you.
That's what I thought.
Daniel goes and tries to find some snowshoes that can be affixed to the bottom of his space boots, so he doesn't sink down into the snow as soon as they leave an unshoveled path.
There is a cobbler that has what effectively amounts to clip-on snowshoes. That's more adjustable, so it's available for everyone should they.
Kara, deciding to take the training extremely seriously, simply goes with just the coat, figuring that the less equipment she'd have on hand, the more realistic the survival scenario is. She does have with her a short stachak, which is a type of dagger, and her phaser pistol, but that's about it.
All right, is everyone as equipped as they want to be?
Let's see, Eli's got the coat, he's got the outfit that I posted, the belt, probably a knife, but yeah, about everything.
I also want to, Daniel also wants to look for some ice picks and rope.
Okay. Where Kara was looking at pulling out some jackets before, you do see some long length of rope and some pittons and other gear like that. So you're able to collect those easily enough. All right. Someone roll a d4 for me? Actually, I will roll since I'll have to use a non-standard, a non-Star Trek Adventure standard dice. Okay, so Kara got a 4 on random.org for a die roll of 4. So that is heading south. So one of the you see a Saure sort of run up to you, Kara, giving you an important package. This needs to get to. It gives you a name. I didn't even think of a proper name for a village. Let's go with Frosthaven. Let's go with Frosthaven for now. It needs to get to Frosthaven. It's a couple of days travel south along the path. Just with the snow, just try not get lost. And he hands it to you. There's someone that is needing of this medicine here. So if you can make it as quick as possible, but well, who knows what the weather may do. And he looks out to the sky, and even though it looks perfectly clear and calm right now, it's gonna be a while, and things can quickly change anyway.
She looks at the kid. Well, just call me Togo and I'll get it done. She looks and makes sure that everybody is vaguely ready and just starts heading south.
John follows, still munching his gummy bears. As much clinking as, well, tardigrades have lots of joints and very small, and he's making lots of noise in his armor.
Since John decided to get heavy thick armor, I will get everyone to make a fitness security roll, difficulty 2. John will have a complication range of 18 for that.
You said fitness security?
Fitness security.
Kara gets 1 success, 1 complication, so she technically fails.
0 successes, 0 complications.
John gets 2 successes.
Oh, and just so I'm saying it so the viewers know, I have decided that Eli also borrowed Checker's Most Nagant. Because fun.
Alright, so it looks like only...
Only John made this.
Only John made it. So you hear... So John...
Wait, did Charog roll yet?
What am I rolling?
Fitness security.
I was also, before we left, Daniel also wanted to just look around to see if he could find a vehicle of some kind.
Oh, there was no vehicles.
Okay.
No sled for you.
You get a small sled, attach it to John.
I hope there are degrees of failure because everybody but John has failed.
Yeah,
You know
so
what? Let's just turn me into a sled. Just I
The
don't know.
spacesuit. Just put the visor down. We'll ride you down the hill.
So what happens with John is that his the armor actually strangely designed to act sort of like a plow. And he's actually leading first. He's able to make clear open enough of a path that the others behind, even those that have failed, aren't getting enough waylaid. However, about an hour and a half into the journey, you'll hear this howl, this echoing howl that spreads across the entire plain as you look around. Can everyone give me insight security checks?
I would like to point out after doing this roll that you have called for 3 insight checks, and that is my lowest stat. No successes.
Same. Does it have to be security? Can we do science for trying to identify this?
I will allow science.
What was it?
So insight science you can do if you want.
All right, sweet. And one more question: xenoanthropology, or not anthropology, xenobiology.
I will allow xenobiology to apply.
Yeah, I don't know why I was saying anthropology. Wow.
Wolves have culture.
Wait, I can use science instead.
Yeah, if you want to use science, you can. You haven't rolled yet.
Well, I would have gotten it either way, but yay.
When the howl comes along, Kara just says, "Oh good, local wildlife." Something tells me that despite what should be true in the wild, they're probably programmed to see us as food.
So so everyone's made their rolls.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So Daniel sees them first. It is just sort of like a shimmer in movement through the white wasteland. But Chorog, John, and the doctor do take note of some form. At the moment, it seems to be not directly moving forward. It's sort of like more in line with them in the movement as they've gained attention, but not you're not being attacked.
Kara decides to go back to her old animal training to find out if there's anything she could do to diffuse the situation. She thinks through it.
All right, give me a reason science.
And I have animal behavior, husbandry, all sorts of things like that as foci.
Yep, that will apply.
Does it look cat-like at all?
It is. It's sort of like a half cat-like, half dog-like. So it has some feline traits, has some canine traits.
It's a fossa.
Daniel lifts his visor up on his helmet and tries just looking at it and doing some slow blinks, trying to use some stuff he knows works on house cats.
2 successes for Kara, by the way.
Make him seem friendly.
All right. So Kara does know that in an environment such as this, where there is sort of limited food and limited, it's a generally harsh environment. That that there's the possibility that this creature might turn on them should the circumstances be right. However, if they want to sort of stop things from happening to begin with, then they need to have sort of a demonstration that it is that you're fit, healthy, strong, and that you're not in a position of trouble, but in a position of strength, and as such, it's going to be too difficult for them to take you on.
All right, gang, time for a little target practice. Weapons out, lowest stun setting. We just really want to give this guy a couple sore spots so he knows not to mess with us.
Daniel
Cool.
says, "Wait, before we start shooting, could I ask John to try something first?"
John excitedly nods, making lots of clanking noises with his helmet.
Now, John, this isn't going to involve the hammer, but, do you think you could, pop back to town and grab some meat for us to give to it?
Well, not really, because holodeck is, like a room. If I sport jump, like to town, I would probably just, be in some part of Magellan or space.
In addition, I don't think making ourselves look like we have extra things it might be interested in is a good idea.
Eli racks around the Mose and fires it into the air.
John takes that as a cue, rushes towards the nearest tree with a hammer, and tries to chop it down with the hammer.
All right. Give me, if you're going to fire, give me a control security. If you're going to hit things with a hammer, give me a daring security.
The shot's into the air. It's not aimed at anything.
Well,
Just making big, loud noise.
making a bit of loud noise, and let's give me a presence security then.
Wouldn't that be command? Oh, okay.
John gets a crit and a success, so
Still using your security training to generate, appearing to be a threat. So
It's going to be a 10. Oh, for one success.
success. With John, the crack of John's hammer against the tree, followed up by the rifle round, does startle the critter enough, and you see it sort of vanish off into the distance under the snow. It doesn't appear to be paying any more interest in you at the moment.
now with 3 successes, does John chop down the tree?
Oh yes. So John.
Actually, I was going to say it's like one of those cartoons. He doesn't chop down the tree, but now there's no snow on it anywhere.
Okay. So the snow. First, the snow falls off, but also as John hits it, there's like a spray of splinters coming from the tree. The tree isn't felled, but there's a good chunk of wood that has just been evaporated from the tree with that strike.
Kara smirks. I get it. Cruelty to animals, not cool. Cruelty to plants, just fine.
Okay, the sun continues to go, and it starts to get a bit lower in the sky, which leads you to think, oh, what are we going to do for shelter? This is a flat, open plain. There is no clear caves, there's probably, there's no real trees that you can set up close enough to, for a hammock or something. How do you want to try and do to set up some kind of shelter?
How deep is the snow?
The snow is started to get thicker than it was in town. It is, even with John plowing through it, it's getting to about 5 feet now. That's off the road.
If the snow's deep enough, we could probably try to burrow down. Snow makes great insulation.
Yeah, either that or I was thinking we could strip some branches off the tree that John has, messed with there, weave that up and make a lean-to.
We don't have a lot of... You first.
Okay, I was gonna say, if we do end up burrowing in, I could just lean on the entrance to act as a door. I'll probably be fine in this suit.
I don't think we have a lot of daylight to make an igloo.
Well, it doesn't have to be an igloo. We can just dig into the snow. It's already.
I know, but an igloo would be nicer.
I don't think this is about comfort, Eli.
John has already started burrowing, but he's also burrowing down into the ground because he's got tardigrade claws.
Well, that's even better.
We could take some of the branches from the trees and line the inside of it so it can make it a little bit warmer for us.
And any extra branches we can use for fire fuel.
Trog hands Carl his mech. Let's get to work on these branches.
Righto.
All right. For those guys working on the branches, this will be make it a control. I will allow security or science.
Kara gets 3 successes because on control things she automatically gets a success.
So, can I get John to do fitness security as well? Or fitness science, I will also allow for John.
Success.
Alright, so John's having a hard time actually digging into the ground. He's able to do a little bit. The ground is just hard, frozen, and his claws are just sort of scraping it rather than, getting handfuls of dirt and getting rid of them, but he's able to get at least a little bit. Kara and Chorog are able to make light work of the tree and just structure it how they want to do it, getting the bits of wood just the right size for structuring the snow tube, some for wood for fire.
Trog walks over with an armful of branches, sees John struggling, hands John his disruptor pistol, and tells him, John, if you put this on the lowest possible setting, it'll soften up that ground pretty good.
Ooh. John holds the disruptor pistol with wonder.
Just to make sure it's on its lowest possible setting. You don't want to blow the ground of Kingdom Come on a high setting.
John nods. So he is going to try using the disruptor pistol to soften up the earth before he starts digging and use that as a 2-stage tunneling system.
All right, give me a control security check. This will just be a 1, difficulty 1.
1 success.
All right, so John does what is needed. There's a light sort of fog come up and that just sort of vanishes as the disruptor pistol starts firing, and then sort of the constant firing as the water gets removed and the ground itself starts to heat up. Just that little bit enough for it to be sort of wet but also maneuverable. So John starts to clear things out.
So yeah, he's gonna burrow, he'll burrow down and then sort of make an enlarged area, not too far away from the surface, even with potentially a little chimney in there as well. Kind of making a little interior dome that would be comfortable for all of the crew.
All right, so John does it looking at just sort of the making sure that it's not going to fall in on itself, and with that, with the wood from Kara and Chorog, with the disruptor pistol, you're able to make yourself some reasonable shelter.
Hey.
So with that sorted out, the group sort of gets in, and as night starts to fall, the wind picks up. Good thing that DB is there, because you could start to feel as these not chunks of ice, but as the edge starts to fill up with snow, as more and more snow comes in with sort of a blizzard. The layers stack up. The chimney starts to get clogged, but you're on top of it with a tight blast from the disruptor pistol, just to keep it conserving both the energy of the disruptor pistol and being able to breathe as the wind is able to pick up and take the smoke from the little wood fire. You're able to cobble together with the wood and with your phaser pistols. The night is quite loud, but eventually you'll give me a fitness. Let's go fitness command to see how well you can go to sleep with the blizzard raging on outside.
Kara has 1 success.
Got 2 successes.
Okay, everyone but Shurog is able to make it to sleep. It takes Kara a bit longer than the others, but everyone managed to get a good night's sleep, except for Shurog, who is apparently the noise is well, Shurog, tell me why you couldn't get to sleep with the blizzard as it is.
Well, the combination of the little bit of the cold and not enough venom keeps Charog somewhat awake. But that's fine, because Charog will stay awake. He'll tend the fire, make sure everyone else manages to stay warm. He can go a couple of days without sleep and be fine.
Plus, you're probably the one who's been firing the phaser up into the chimney.
As John huddles up for sleep, he curls up in basically a perfect little defensive ball. I'm just all plate mail. But he curls up around the gummy bears to keep them extra warm.
So the night goes relatively calm inside your little bubble. Even though the wind and the snow is outside, it's anything but. By the morning, there is still wind. It's still snowing a little bit, but it wasn't anywhere near as rough as it was. The bundle of gummy bears that John has is still warm and not just that right temperature for chewing. As you set up and start to pick out, it's going to be a harder day than it was yesterday.
Kara checks with John to see if she can have some gummy bears, and whether or not she can, I'm presuming she probably can, she's going to take her to chalk and start using it like an ice pick to get their way out of the shelter.
If we're trying to leave the shelter, Daniel just tries to stand up out of the snow.
It is a bit of an effort to. There is still like 2 or 3 feet of snow that's layered on top. That you sort of have to dig your way through. You can't just sort of stand up. You try to do on your feet to slip, even with the snow boots on, snowshoes on. There's just not enough. You're not able to put enough force into the top to actually just remove the plug. But you're able to dig your way out and through. This time, it's even with your the microfiber with the coats that you had prepared. It is still even walking. You're still starting to feel still cold. Start to get through.
Well, it's a brisk morning, isn't it? She hugs her arms around herself and checks the package. We'd better get going before this gets any worse.
Hey, does that have to stay warm or anything?
If anything, I would think it would need to stay cold as medicine, but...
You weren't given any instructions as to keeping it cold. You just had to take it there. There doesn't seem to be particularly fragile. It's just something you have to take to a destination and do so quickly.
Calling it now, it's going to be the Saurian equivalent of a chocolate bar. Presuming there is nothing else anyone wants to take care of, Kara just starts marching.
John's just marching through the snow, thoroughly enjoying the experience of being a snowplow.
All right, John, give me an insight What would I'm trying to think? What would a good discipline for navigation be? Con.
On, yeah, I'd say con. Make it interesting too, because he's not particularly good at both. No successes.
All right, so John, you're making. John makes his way through the device. It's through the snow. It takes like 10 minutes or so for you to realize that things are starting to get a bit more variable. There's a bit of rocks here. There's a bit of that there. You're not on a properly smooth path anymore. And with the snow and just the general low visibility, you're starting to worry if you're even going in the right direction.
Should we start walking on top of the snow now?
Well, if that's not a rhetorical question, you've got the snowshoes, you try.
I thought we all had snowshoes.
Nope.
All I took was the coat.
Oh, okay. Thought he mentioned. I thought they mentioned.
He mentioned that all of us could take the gear we wanted.
Okay.
Just because they are available doesn't mean you took them. So as you try to get on top of the snow, Daniel, you sink in a little bit. Your weight is a bit more than what a normal person's would be with the coat, but not enough for it to be a significant problem. So you're able to look out on the snow. It's just hard to see where the path would be. If you want to try and reorientate yourself or figure out
Kara reaches into a pocket and pulls out her tricorder and passes it up to Daniel. Use this. It's got a compass function. We just need to go south.
Wait, I have an actual compass.
Even easier. Use that.
It's on my belt. Yeah, hold on.
Also, can I see the sun?
Give me a insight science check. You can't directly see where the sun is, but maybe you'd be able to just see enough of a change that you could tell where it is. Daniel, you look around. You don't really see the sun. You think for a moment that you might see it, but with all the clouds, with all the snow going around, it is really, really hard for you to fully clock. The tricorder gets past to you. It is set on a compass, so you know which direction you have to go. You're still too far out for a proper, this is your destination kind of getting a kind of read on where you have to go, but at least you know the rough direction that you need to go in.
I guess Daniel passes the tricorder back and just points in a generally south direction and just says, "That away."
Kara nods, passes the tricorder back to him, and says, "You'll need this so that we don't accidentally get off path." And then she gently pats John and says, "Follow the spaceman, dear."
Or John salutes and follows the spaceman. He is having a very, very good day between his hammer, his armor, and following a spaceman.
So for John, it's almost like swimming in the snow, because he is a dense, heavy thing with the armor on. So he can tell where he is, but it's not an easy walk for him. It's not easy making his way through and keeping his eye on the spaceman.
Well, good news is it's easier for everybody following John.
Does Daniel notice John having trouble following?
Yes, you're close enough, and it's pretty obvious enough that you can notice.
I was also going to ask that since Daniel was an astronaut, did he have any military training?
Daniel's background is like almost all just science. Like he was sent in, he was sent into space because that was the most safe place to do, like, dangerous experiments on things.
Okay, never mind. One of the big things they teach you quick in the military is that when you're in a convoy, keep track of the guy behind you. But Daniel wouldn't know that, having never had military training.
That being said, if that being said, noticing that John is having a bit of trouble keeping track of where Daniel is above the snow line, this situation kind of reminds Daniel of an old song from back in the day, and he starts singing it out loud for John to hear to make it easier to follow. Just singing, "Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along?" And that song.
Yeah, I was going to say stop there before we have to pay royalties.
So with the singing, it is John's basically leaping his way through the snow just to get to you. And with that, it's enough for him to not actually to be be less active in a way.
I was going to say that with the singing, I mean, it's a neat idea, but John is wearing a plate metal medieval helmet. Is he going to have directional hearing with that on?
I don't know. He's a tardigrade, not a person.
He's just built different.
Yeah, like,
Exactly.
do tardigrades even have eyes, per se?
Yeah, they do. Tardigrades do have eyes. I think most do.
He can hear through the mycelial network.
He can feel him through the not George Lucas force.
You can feel the vibrations anyway. Let's put it that way. Yes, you are able to make it through. Can I have another fitness check, please? Fitness security from everyone.
Have when I make adapt John's sheet to a character, I might give him a focus in snowplows.
I am rolling a lot of 20s tonight. 1 success, 1 complication.
John gets 2 successes.
One success.
She doesn't have any applicable focuses for this adventure. He doesn't have any values set. His attributes are probably a few points below the average of players, especially where we've had a few advancements.
Hey, I just lucked into being able to do something useful, and then when it came to chopping the tree down, I had nothing for that. I just rolled well.
Daniel's just having a good old romp on the snow, singing along.
What are we running?
Fitness security. Baz is going to do something evil to us.
Frog managed to fall, but just keeps falling flat on his face.
And
Noskins aren't meant to trudge in the snow.
the storm changes once again in this time it's becomes a lightning storm as lightning starts to hit the ground. Loud echoes move and shake. The snow becomes more perilous, more, things just become that little less stable, trying to navigate your way through what could be there one moment and what might not be there the next. Also, you've got a pretty lightning attractive tardigrade right now.
Yeah, I was worrying about that.
Under snow, wonderful.
John, we may need to leave your armor behind unless you like being part of the holodex's electrical circuit.
John has a long thought. Go be sad. I don't want to leave my armor. My armor. He hugs it.
I mean, you're a grown tardigrade. You can make your own decisions. And I think the safeties are on. I'm just warning you, there could be unpleasantness.
John nods and then proceeds ahead, holding his hammer aloft.
Oh, God.
Can
Oh, boy.
tardigrades even experience cardiac arrest?
I mean, mycelial lightning's been a big thing in Star Trek Online for mycelial network powers. He can probably handle a really big jolt. I wonder if he's trying to make sort of a Faraday cage around him out of the armor, and then using the hammer to basically keep it away from other people. Also,
John is Thor confirmed.
Yes, John is also trying to become Thor.
Kara
because he is the god of hammers.
does some mental calculations, figuring out exactly how far back from John people need to stand just in case.
Okay, give me a reason science, and John, give me. Let's go. What would it be?
No successes somehow.
Eli,
Presence, present science. Let's do that.
Eli is also trying to gather the information Kara was seeing the same thing, so
All right, do another
guess I'll roll
reason
two.
science.
Yep, so John gets a success.
All right, so as long as you're, I'm going to use American things here because all you Americans, 10 foot back from John, it shouldn't be an issue. With the hammer aloft and with his armor, it's all going to go to him and then go down to the ground. And as long as you're not too close, then it shouldn't. Then you're not going to be affected.
Daniel has switched to singing Thunderstruck.
Eli relays this information. Just stay 10 feet back.
I have to say this out of character since Kara wouldn't know it, but at least it's not Shock the Monkey.
What?
Shock the Monkey is an Ozzy Osbourne song.
I thought Shock the Monkey was Peter Gabriel.
Actually, it could also be AC. Let me look it up.
I've never heard, I love Ozzy Osbourne, so if it is him, shit. But I've never heard of that song.
Well,
You are right. It's Peter Gabriel. I'm sorry.
Let's take this moment as an opportunity to take a quick break, as it is just over an hour for the recording. So let's take a break, and we will continue on later on in a moment. It'll be right in a moment for recording. All right, everyone, we're back to it now after a quick break. The storm is turning electrical as John is there with his hammer over his head, and people are staying 3 meters away from him or 10 feet. So now, some more progress as the group slowly moves forward. There is a lightning strike that comes down just in front, hitting a tree in front of them as the tree explodes. At the moment, no one gets hit, but it's only just a matter of time. Does anyone want to say or do something before we move on?
Nope, John's just doing his hammer bit.
All right. So as we move on forward, another lightning strike comes down, and another. It does. On the third strike, John does get hit. Lightning strikes the hammer, goes down, sort of arcs all around the heavy armor and dissipates into the snow, leaving a puff of steam and electricity. John, being fully covered, is unharmed.
John, at that point, looks up into the sky and calls out, "That's the best you got! Next time, bring it your A game!"
John, please don't. Eli says.
Kara's just pinching the bridge of her nose and just still following.
So more lightning strikes and more progress is made. Another one strikes John. Does John actually want to try and do anything with it, or does he want to just let it run out?
No, he's not gonna try flinging the lightning. He's just going to keep absorbing the hits.
Okay. Eventually, the storm does sort of fade back as the clouds sort of start giving way to a clear sky. The pad starts to beep again with the name of Frosthaven appearing. It is you've wandered a bit too far west, but there is a clear way to Frosthaven. You can see just a little smoke starting to rise from the distance, with the clear, calm skies sort of arriving. The question is, will you make it before night?
Kara does take the moment to get her tricorder back from Daniel and puts it in her pocket. And she looks at him and says, "See, if we hadn't kept using this, we might be even further west. Can't trust your own sense of direction." Actually, out of character, that's a very good thing, kids. Don't trust your sense of direction in the woods. You'll end up walking in circles. Is this thing on?
Yep.
It is.
John's just being a lightning magnet right now.
Yes, and by the way, I was actually reminded of something by Churog. How's your water and food been doing? How have you been doing? I don't remember if anyone brought any.
Gummy bears.
Well, we have gummy bears, but what about water?
Oh,
Put some snow in your canteen. Let it melt.
gummy bears are gummy. Gummy means it's got a high water content.
Yeah, but you need to use water to process the glucose, so it's not water positive.
At some point
He's
along,
just eating snow.
I think we should stop for a minute, maybe get some hydration going here. Trudging through all the snow is bound to dry us out.
as they're walking along, Kara basically doesn't stop, but she looks over at John and asks him for the bag of gummy bears. She takes the bag, turns out the bag into one of the pockets on her coat, leaving her with an empty plastic bag, fills the plastic bag with snow, and then sticks that in her pocket with the top twisted up so that it can thaw out and they'll have water to share, and then she can just do that again and again and again.
John eats a handful of snow.
Or you can do that if you want to trade your body heat directly for hydration.
Eli also takes a handful of snow.
I'm pretty well insulated, so I just do that too.
The snow might be warming John up.
So
It's hesitant to just take a handful of snow because who knows what did what in that snow.
Snow
Yeah.
just fell last night.
I mean, the other thing you guys could do, speaking out of character, is have some kind of metal vessel on John. Oh, actually, it's just gonna get boiled to steam. I was gonna say you could try melting the snow and lightning keeps striking John, but yeah, that might be a little too much energy.
Yeah, we could use his helmet as a metal vessel for melting snow.
You could.
I'm proud of my MacGyver solution.
Yeah, I think that's sufficient.
The camera's on. The camera's on you, just meticulously packaging snow to carefully turn into water, and then the camera pans over to all of us, just shoveling snow in our mouths.
I think Eli said he was putting it in his canteen, so there's two of us being
No,
smart.
I was putting it in my mouth. I just said hand.
Oh, right.
I
God.
don't have a canteen. It's not in my belt. I got a mini skillet. I got some little scissors. I got a compass. Some other stuff.
I mean, skillet you can do some stuff with.
Yeah, but it's like you won't even hold a full egg.
Mm,
It is a mini skillet.
not useful in combat.
But with judicious use of phasers and disruptors, well and truly enough to boil and melt water to make drinkable water instead of snow. And the sun is actually now just sort of like 1 o'clock, I'd say. Sort of like that kind of position, and you've still at least got a few good hours of traveling, even at full pace. So can I get everyone to do one more fitness, security, or fitness? Allow fitness science as well.
I actually rolled well
Gets
this one time.
success.
2 successes.
Fitness science. Oh.
Everyone does really well. It's with 2 successes each.
I wanted to use some momentum since no one's
Okay.
done that, so I'm
Yeah.
re-rolling one.
Oh,
You might want to save that for Daniel.
We've got
four,
plenty
I
of
think, 3 or
momentum,
4.
so both of you
Yeah.
can re-roll 1 dice if you want to re-roll using momentum.
Now the question is, if I do that, do I want to re-roll to try and get 2 complications, or get rid of my current complication?
Get rid of your current complication.
Okay.
Do that thing, yes.
Fine, I'll get
One
rid of a
success for Eli.
complication. Wait, how do I specify the number of dice?
If you do the R command, it's the second number. So you do like R and then your target, which is 14. So it's /R space 14 space 1.
Well, that brings us up to everybody having at least one success.
With everyone
Yay.
getting at least one and a good number of you getting two, you make it just as the sun starts to fall. Just the last 30 minutes of good sunlight as you approach Frosthaven. With the village in sight and the location coming up on your pad, it's easy to do. And as you arrive, you're met with by a number of two male souls, one younger, another one who would be like in the old elder category sort of man. The younger one just sort of says thank you as he just we'll get this to them immediately, and just sort of takes a box and sort of runs off quickly through the middle of town, much faster than you could have. And the elder who stays there goes, "Well, welcome. You have been rather quick. Thank you for your timely response. Starting to really get touch and go there, but with this medicine that you've provided, it should be he should be able to make a full recovery. Please come be my guest, and surely you've need some food and water."
That's the best thing I've heard all day. Thank you.
Greatly appreciated.
And with that, you're led to a to what looks like a sort of town hall sort of area, large feast area. It is cozy. It's warm. It's homely. You feel just getting there. You just feel the cold sort of falling away from you as you approach. The energy of your all the energy that you've expended in moving through the snow and moving through the ice has kept you warm enough, but with a true source of heat, with a true source of warmth, that just sort of all fades away from you as water just sort of melting off you. And it takes a little bit longer, but foods start to bring out some meat, some vegetables, some cakes even.
Kara,
as more people sort of come to meet you up.
Kara spent the time going over in her mind the successes and failures of the mission. Considering the lack of equipment that she brought along, things had gone reasonably well, but in an environment this severe, long-term survival was probably not likely.
And with a warming sensation, with all the food, with all the company coming around, you're getting many people thanking you. You're getting many people sort of just sort of coming up and talking to you. But eventually, the program just sort of ends as people start to trickle away, and the food that was on the plates has all been eaten, and it's just the party. You guys all in this quiet room as Rick Tier sort of in his full in engineer out in his uniform comes away. So congratulations on completing this test. You've been satisfactorily completed training, at least. We do have some notes on we didn't have some form of proper shelter that was available throughout there, but you were able to make together put a temporary shelter, which was very important. but a longer term, like mobile, such as a tent or some kind of permanent yet mobile shelter would have been very helpful. So apart from that, please, from your experiences here, tell me, how did you think you go? Where could have you improved?
Kara is basically just pacing back and forth, and she says, if this had been an actual shuttle crash, we might have had more material, supply kits from the shuttle emergency rations. So I chose to take this exercise as an idea of simply being stranded by a bad beam out. As far as what could have been done better, hard to say. We were placed with an outside objective other than survival. Had survival been the full goal, then it probably would have been easier in that we would not have had to subject ourselves to quite such extremes.
Sometimes you need to get to a location, and the way to get there is fraught with dangers. Sometimes you just need to stay still. Sometimes
Acknowledged.
you need to push yourself beyond anything you've ever tried to do.
It could have been the path to a necessary beam outside, for instance, with a limited window of extraction.
It could just be a meeting up with the intended destination. But yes, you are. There are many things that can go wrong. Sometimes they're expected, sometimes not. Which is why we had a little bit of randomness to the situation. We could have gone up into the mountains, could have gone into the forest, could have gone into a much more up and down, with only the immediate area being clear. But you went through the path. It had a clear destination, a clear way ahead. You could see the situations you were in, and you dealt with the situations being fully cognizant of what you were facing at that time well.
John raises a hand.
Yes, John?
I think I could have used like a rope and some like harnessy stuff. So like if someone fell, I could drag them, and also so like someone could lead me and not get struck by lightning.
I hate to point this out of character, but Daniel is right now standing over there with ice picks and ropes on him because he had actually specifically asked about that before leaving.
Yes.
And no one offered John the rope.
We cut down a tree. We could have made a sled.
To be honest, I forgot he took those until just now.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for a moment when we would actually need them.
We could have used the bark from the tree as a makeshift sled as well.
I mean, if you were going up into the mountains, you would have definitely needed someone with climbing gear, ropes, and harnesses. With the snow, it probably, as it was, it would have been just, I guess, helpful just to be able to make sure that no one was left behind.
John nods.
Well, you have passed. There's always more that we can improve with everything, with these tasks.
Kara just shrugs. I increased the difficulty by my own willingness. Presumably, had we had the standard survival kits on shuttles, this would have been actually fairly simple.
Daniel raises his hand.
Yes, Daniel?
Sir, wouldn't a tent have actually been not the best choice for the terrain we were sent on? There wouldn't have been any good anchor points to tie it down in the deep snow, and the strong wind would have made it unstable. I feel like making shelter out of our surroundings for that particular path was probably the better option.
There's always things around, ways around, more, let's say, volatile nature of tents. Wind
Also,
was definitely an issue that the tents would have suffered with, and you had the plenty of wood. You had the snow that you could use to to direct and cover. And if the snow were to somehow melt or to get away, you would have a way you would have covering, even though things you're making your cover out of would have gone away. For this,
But also, sorry, I thought you were done talking.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, go for it. I was just tidying things up, finishing it up. But yeah.
I was just gonna say, well, also, wouldn't it? It would have also been. How would we have avoided it being crushed under the snow that fell that night?
How
It
would
was
you,
several
Federation
feet of
tents are
snow.
sturdy.
how would you prevented your current what you used from collapsing under the weight of the new snow?
It was made of snow. It was already stable.
But new weight always adds new pressures.
We could have used thicker branches to make makeshift supports to hold the roof up.
Also, the warmth from inside might have partially melted the snow closest to us, forming a sheet of ice, a sort of shell.
Also, if we could have found some stones, we could have used that as a heat source as well, instead of an actual open fire.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Happened once with Captain Lorca.
And you had phaser. All you do is a phaser on low power to use it to heat the rock, and make a nice heat source that's not an open flame.
The important thing is that you use your resources and made through the situation. That is the essence of survival. Sometimes things are more, how shall I say it, more nicer than other options. But the question here is survival, not luxury. So if as you saw, what you had was quite successful. It was successful in the limited scope of what you had.
The old saying, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing. And if you can use the plane again the next day, then it's a great landing.
All right. If there is anything else, we've about exceeded the time for the holodeck usage. So if there's anything else,
Don raises his hand.
John.
Go ahead, get to keep the hammer.
I guess that would be up to the acting captain.
Keep the hammer.
John hugs Eli.
John's got a small armory growing in his quarters.
So does John still have the plate armor on?
Yes, it was replicated, so he's also keeping that too.
Okay, so then
And in his quarters, he's got a batleth and a Klingon uniform, and
Yeah, his he's increasingly growing an armory.
Eli receives a small shock from the hug.
Residual shock.
I have two questions. One, what were we even delivering? I don't think that was ever clarified.
It was, I believe, it was stated in the earlier, it was medicine.
medicine.
Okay, I might have been away from that.
Question 2.
Question 2, was the feast part really necessary?
Well, not really, but it was helpful to get you all back to normal operating temperature. We did, there was some fiddling with the safeties to allow you to get, well, near at least hypothermia, and we wanted to remove that.
Look at it this way, Captain. Did you want to debrief in the cold?
Yes, I like being cold. You don't understand, I keep my quarters at like 60 degrees.
Yes, well, you also came back to life after death, so maybe you're not the most normal person to compare ourselves to.
And Ged was monitoring your core temperatures, and things were stable, but
Yeah, they can handle a little bit more. Sir, what about Eli's? Yeah, you can handle it.
In fact, just turn the safeties off on him.
I'm so cold I sneezed icicles.
I, for one, enjoyed regaling the tales of our treacherous journey to the townsfolk amidst the revelry.
I feel like the mead didn't hit as hard as Grimnir's does.
No, it didn't. And nowhere near as hard as the venom.
well, then I guess that will be the end of our little adventure. Please,
So this was winter survival training. When do we do desert and jungle?
Oh, there are already plans in place.
Oh, okay, good.
Ooh, nice and warm. I love the warm.
Next
Kara
time it'll
just
be,
glares at Eli.
Next time it'll be spontaneous, practical survival training, aka they'll crash us in a shuttle on purpose onto an actual planet.
Ironically, we might have more supplies then. Actual Federation stuff.
You'd be surprised what I could do with a wrecked shuttle.
Yeah, not to mention the engineering and salvage possibilities of the shuttle itself.
Yes.
You could probably just get the shuttle working again.
Not if John has his hammer. He's gonna just keep whacking it. It's part of the survival training.
That's
Rick
percussive
gives
maintenance.
him specific orders. Now, hit this computer console really hard.
Get a piece of candy.
It's percussive maintenance. It'll like John hits it with his hammer, and suddenly the console is working at 300%.
That's pirate maintenance.